We'll be going over the IRS Interactive Tax Assistant tool that helps taxpayers determine whether or not their wages are exempt from federal income tax withholding. So you'll need a little bit of information. You'll need information about your prior year income to include a copy of your tax return if you've already filed it, an estimate of your income for the current year, and then if you can be claimed as a dependent on another taxpayer's return, you'll need an estimate of your wages for this year, as well as the total amount of unearned income. Unearned income includes investment income such as interest, dividends, and capital gains distributions, and it also includes unemployment compensation, taxable Social Security benefits, pensions, annuities, debt cancellation, and distributions of unearned income from a trust. So there are other tax forms and videos that we've produced that cover some of the topics we might go over in this tool. We'll put links to everything that's relevant in the show notes. So the estimated completion time is about 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and begin. So the first question is whether or not you're asking about exemption from withholding for 2023. So did you have a right to a refund of all federal income tax withheld because you had no tax liability of 2022? So that's different from having no tax bill due. This actually asks the question about whether or not you owed zero tax. So let's just say no. So in this case, you can't claim an exemption from withholding. If you want to claim that exemption from withholding for 2023, you had to have had a right to a refund of all of your income tax previously withheld because you didn't have a tax liability in the previous year. So let's go back and say no. And then we'll say yes to this question. So this now was only designed to address the exemption for the current tax period, which happened to be 2023. So let's go back to the very beginning. So it's asking about 2023. Let's imagine that we also had a right to a refund of all tax withheld because you didn't have a tax liability. Now it's asking whether or not you can be claimed as a dependent. So we'll go through this decision branch, starting by answering yes. So what is your current filing status? Are you age 65 or older? Are you legally blind? Is your income more than $1,250? So if your income is less than that amount, then you can claim an exemption. You have to give your employer a completed Form W-4. You skip steps 2 through 4C. You write in exempt below 4C, and then you complete steps 1 through 5. So if you claim an exemption, but then your situation changes, you have to give your employer a new Form W-4 within 10 days. If you claim an exemption, but you expect to owe income tax in the following year, you have to give a new W-4. Your exemption is good year to year, so you have to keep giving a new W-4 by February 15th of each year to continue your exemption. So let's go back and say, answer a couple more questions. So again, in this situation, we were saying that you had unearned income, you had higher than $1,250 of earned income, but it was less than $13,850. So basically, it's kind of asking you whether or not you have enough income to, again, possibly have zero tax liability. So, in this case, this would be smaller than the standard deduction. So once you go through your standard deduction, whatever your earned income or total income was, your standard deduction will nullify that. So there, I mean, you can keep going through these decision trees, but basically you're either going to get a yes or a no answer on whether or not you can be exempt from tax withholding. A couple things I wanted to point out for your benefit. Anytime you see these blue fields, you can actually go to the IRS definition. So, for example, if you think that you're blind, you may very well be blind, but there is a specific IRS definition. So, the IRS definition is if you cannot see better than 2200 in your better eye, and that's with glasses or contacts, or if your field of vision is 20 degrees or less. So that's the standard, that is the official IRS definition. Unearned income, as we discussed, it includes unemployment, taxable Social Security, pensions, annuities, debt cancellation, etc. So, and then one thing I always encourage people to do is when you get to the end of this decision tree, go ahead and hit the print button and go through this a couple of times just to make sure that you answer the questions to your satisfaction. Obviously, at the time we're shooting this video, it's mid-December of 2023. So I expect that the IRS will update this tax assistant probably early 2024 for the 2024 tax year, right? So you can use this as kind of a proxy for what you might be looking at in the 2024 tax year. But before you depend on this for any tax position, understand that you should always seek professional, like tax professional guidance for a specific situation. The interactive tax assistant tools from the IRS website are not considered to be tax advice or legal advice or anything that is binding on anyone. So if you make a mistake, the best thing that you could do is print this review screen, keep it in your records. That way, when you do, if you have an examination, you can refer to this, you can understand the decisions. And if you made a mistake, it'll look a little bit better to the examiner if you're able to walk them through the due diligence that you went through so that you can avoid anything like a negligence related penalty or an accuracy related penalty. So not that you'll get out of jail free completely, but this will give you a better chance of not being held to account for any blatant disregard for the tax code. So that's all we have for this video. Like I said, we'll put links to relevant material in the show notes, so including some articles that might be relevant to your situation. If you like our articles, please subscribe to our newsletter. If you like our YouTube videos, please subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions, comments, or think of a topic that you would like to cover in a future video, please hit me up in the show notes. Thank you very much and have a great day.